A very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from the Quezon City Hall. This is Rita Gadi Baltazar welcoming you to join us at the necrological services for the late General Tomas Caringal. Mrs. Marcos, as Governor of Metropolitan Manila, Minister of Human Settlements, and as First Lady, leads the important personages both in the military and civilian government who will be reciting their eulogies for the late General Tomas Caringal. His untimely passing and the expression of the words of our common grief in the face of the violence that has ended his life. And as the President himself has noted, in the truest sense of the words, whose meaning we have sometimes forgotten, General Caringal was a dedicated servant of the law and of society. We are well aware of the sudden and shocking demise of General Caringal, his lifetime abruptly ending at 69 years, and above everything else, he has consecrated this to the profession of law enforcement. And throughout that long term of service, he did more than most to do honor to the badge that he wore, and he brought distinction and respect to the profession that he embraced, and earned the admiration of many who hardly know him. He did more than most to maintain the civility and peace of the city that he served. Tomas Caringal y Bonicelli was born in Pasacao, Camarines Sur, December 30, 1915. He accomplished his elementary education at the Pasacao Elementary School in 1930 and was graduated from the Camarines Sur High School in 1934. He was a member of the Philippine Military Academy of the class of 1940, a third-year College of Engineering student at the Far Eastern University, and was commissioned third lieutenant of the Philippine Constabulary in 1940. It was in December of 1974 that General Caringal was appointed by the President as acting superintendent of the Northern Police District of the Metropolitan Police Force in concurrent capacity as station commander of Quezon City Police Station. On April 17, 1978, he was promoted to the rank of Brigadier General. On October 9, 1978, he was relieved as station commander of Station 1 of the Northern Police District of the Metropolitan Police Force, and he has been awarded the Military Merit Medal with 2 Anahaw Leaves, the Distinguished Service Medal, the Hello Campaign Medal, the Hook Campaign Medal, and the Honor Medal from the Bureau of Customs in Manila. We now have the first eulogy by Major General Prospero Olivas, Deputy Chief of Constabulary and Commanding General of the PC Metrocom, Director of the Metropolitan Police Force.
First Lady, Minister of Human Settlements and Governor of Metro Manila, Assemblyman Natividad, Yalver, Yal Ramos, Mayor Rodriguez, other distinguished officials in the government, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to pay a final tribute to Brigadier General Tomas B. Caringal, an officer, a gentleman, a patriot, a World War II veteran who continued serving our country after liberation. He saw action from Apari to Sulu under varying circumstances, and he fought countless battles and fought them well. I first met Tom in February of 1954, when together with hundreds of enlisted men and officers from various components of the ground force, we were mustered to form the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment. At that time, the Republic's existence was threatened by the Hukbalap movement, and a notorious outlaw band was creating chaos in Sulu. He was designated as Regimental Intelligence Officer, having established a reputation of being a top intelligence man in the military field. In the closing year of the Scout Ranger organization as a distinct combat unit, Tom became its last commanding officer, and the last military operation we had together as Scout Rangers was the drive against Leonardo Manicio, the notorious Cavite bandit who murdered the late Colonel Maranya in 1957. We worked again in the service of the government when the Metropolitan Police Force was created in 1974, and in recognition of his long and distinctive record as a military officer and police executive, he was made superintendent of the Northern Police District, a position which he held until his untimely demise. It was in this position that he earned his well-deserved star rank, a rank which eluded him while he was in the active military service. His service in the National Police was characterized with diligence and dedication to duty, to the point that he practically stayed on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A stickler for discipline, he steadily molded his command into an effective and efficient unit. At the same time, he maintained the morale of his men, looking after their welfare and giving prompt recognition for their accomplishments. Although serious in the pursuit of his tasks, Tom had a pleasant disposition. He was compassionate and unassuming. Several hours before he was killed, we, together with the senior officers of the Metropolitan Police Force, were engaged in a dialogue for peace with the students of the University of the Philippines. On instructions of President Ferdinand E. Marcos, we were looking for a way to head off any confrontation between student organizations and law enforcement agencies. Tom was very happy about the outcome of the conference, especially when the students promised not to resort to physical violence in the pursuit of their objectives. For Tom was a law enforcer who preferred to solve community problems through peaceful means rather than through force, through persuasion rather than the assertion of authority. Later that evening, Tom met a violent death, a victim of treachery, a treachery which succeeded only because Tom disregarded his personal security, thinking that nobody would harm him because he had done no harm to any person. His assassins may have thought that they put an end to General Tomas B. Karingal by snuffing out his life. But they are wrong, for the purpose of life does not end with death. The ideals and aspirations of Tom will live on in our minds, in our hearts. He will continue to be an inspiration to the members of the law enforcement profession. He will remain a symbol of ideal police leadership, and those whom he had served, the community at large, will continue to be grateful and appreciative of his selfless dedication to duty. It is our hope that his death will help bring an end to disunity among our people and an end to treachery on the part of misguided elements in our society. On behalf of my family and the members of the PC Metrocom and the Metropolitan Police Force, we extend our most heartfelt condolences to Tom's family. And I wish to assure them that even with the passing of Tom, the members of his family will continue to be members of the entire Metropolitan Force family. Farewell, Tom, dear comrade. As I've always been proud in rendering my salute to you. I salute you once more with deep pride and brotherly affection.
The next eulogy will be from Lieutenant General Fidel V. Ramos, Vice Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Chief of Constabulary, and Director General of the Integrated National Police.
Madam Imelda Romualdez Marcos, our First Lady, Minister of Human Settlements, and the Governor of Metro Manila, Mayor Adelina Rodriguez of Quezon City, Vice Governor Matay, Deputy Minister and Assemblyman Tudulo Natividad, Calver, the bereaved Karingal family, other distinguished guests, my colleagues in the Philippine Constabulary and Integrated National Police, mga kasama at mga kaibigan. On a tragic occasion such as this, the right words to say are not easy to find. I have gone over the pages of this eulogy many times before I came here. And somehow I feel that the words set before me are inadequate to express our extreme sorrow and deep sense of loss. While we are grief-stricken, we are also at the same time outraged as to why this undeserved fate has befallen one in our ranks, to our people's extreme detriment. In the last 12 years of my incumbency as Chief of Constabulary and Director General of the Integrated National Police, hundreds of PCINP officers have passed away in the service of our country, as evidenced by the long list of names engraved on the marble memorials in Camp Crame, in Camp Bagong Diwa, and in a dozen other PCINP camps. And as I attended the necrological services for many of these dead, I felt each time that a part of me seemed to die. And I suppose it is inherent in heading an organization such as this that is devoted to public service to feel responsibility for the death of every member. Through the years, it has been to me like having experienced 1,001 personal bereavements. But this particular death, that of our beloved Tom Karingal, surpasses them all. It is different in an incredibly cruel sort of way. After having seen so many deaths of gallant men in uniform in defense of our flag and our people, from Kalinga, Apayao, to Eastern Samar, to Marawi City, to Jolo, in many other places in the 13 regions of this vast land of ours, I should be by now inured to any feeling of shock in seeing yet another death. But I am not. And indeed, I am stricken beyond measure by our present loss because of the personality involved and its occurrence right in the midst of our fair city. To say the least, it is a happening that defies Christian logic, for indeed, who would want to gun down a good man such as Tom Karingal? He was too good-natured, too kind-hearted, too considerate of his fellow men. That was the reason why he went around without security escorts and siren-wailing cars, and why his mealtime companions on that fateful night were subordinates in the persons of a PC major and a patrolman, his guest and driver, respectively. He had a soft heart for those who were below him, and he trusted others to reciprocate his compassion and social conscience. No right-thinking or civilized persons would think of killing General Karingal. None indeed. But then, that is the likely explanation for this happening. For the enemies of the law, the enemies of public order, of public safety, and of civilized ways are not right-thinking and civilized. They are out to extinguish the life of a good man like General Karingal, who stood for what is desirable in our democratic society. What makes General Karingal's death hurting to all of us, and to me personally, is that I look up to him as a mature and mellowing influence in our organization. He was not old enough to be my father, but he was young enough to be my elder brother. I could not help holding him in high esteem. He had not only been through the Philippine Military Academy as a cadet, but was already a commissioned officer in the Philippine Constabulary before World War II broke out. Indeed, he had made a name for himself as a combat officer and as intelligence supervisor during the war in various field assignments. And in 1950, when I was just entering the military service, he was already a seasoned officer. General Karingal had the distinction of serving, as already mentioned, and as already well known to you, in both the Philippine Army and the Philippine Constabulary, as well as in the Bureau of Customs before joining the police service. And these jobs he performed with unusual distinction and devotion to duty. He had done so well in his position as superintendent of the Northern Police District. And because of this, he was extended in the service by the President a number of times and was not due to retire until this coming December 31st, 1984. So highly had I regarded him that some time ago, when a newspaper erroneously claimed that I recommended to Malacanang that he be ousted from his position, I lost no time in denying publicly that I made any such recommendation. But that in fact, and I made this very clear, that my recommendation for him was for his continued stay in the active service for an indefinite period. As we lament the passing of this noble leader, let me reiterate what I said the other day, that our people should not allow themselves to be terrorized into immobility or paralyzation, whether economically, socially, politically, or otherwise, after the assassination of General Karingal. It is for us in the Philippine Constabulary and the Integrated National Police to heed the call of the President, for our leaders, for the military and police authorities to upgrade the nationwide security and public safety plans. General Karingal, for his part, had been working on some of these plans for a truly upgraded and professionalized police service as chairman of a PCINP committee when he was slain. No occasion, therefore, can be more fitting than this one for us to reaffirm our commitment to the ideal of service above self, with which General Karingal performed his duties as a police officer. We pledge, therefore, that everything will be done to see to it that justice is served, that those responsible for the dastardly act are punished to the fullest extent of the law. In the meantime, we can only extend, as we do hereby extend, our condolences to the family of General Karingal, particularly to his children Mila, Jessie, Abet, and Baby. If it would only be any consolation to his family, we would like to say that Tom Karingal will continue to be held in the utmost esteem in death as in life, and that his memory will be a constant inspiration for the police organization to press on for its improvements that he was working on. I have recommended him for the highest awards of the INP, the Medal of Valor, and other tokens of recognition, which he has richly deserved. On this occasion, I therefore am happy to announce, in behalf of the Minister of National Defense, who is the approving authority for this particular recognition, the naming of the headquarters of the Northern Police District of the Metropolitan Police Force, which is located at Sikatuna Village, very near here, henceforth as Camp General Tomas B. Karingal. This is now promulgated officially by virtue of General Orders number 49-P of Headquarters Integrated National Police, dated 30 May 1984. General Karingal, in the service of his country for well nigh 44 years, is entitled to his well-deserved rest. And to him, an officer and a gentleman in the truest sense, we, his comrades in the Philippine Constabulary and the Integrated National Police, render our farewell salute. Thank you.
After Lieutenant General Fidel Ramos, we shall now have an elegy from Jamides Maturan.